From a defensive standpoint, is this about as tough a matchup as you're going to get, just given how good they are across the board defensively?
Yeah, I mean their physical toughness is as good as anybody in the country, and when you look at their numbers defensively, it's it's 1 through 5. Those guys guard anybody. Their physicality, their steal percentage, they're number 1 in the nation in steal percentage. They're going to be in gaps. We can't play in a crowd. That's going to be as important as anything in this game. If you do, they're going to take it from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. We're not going to be the first team all of a sudden that can get by their first line of defense. We have to make simple plays all game long, and they're going to keep that thing out of the paint. That's what they do, and they're really, really good at it. And then they fly around in rotations as well, and they're a very good rebounding team. So I think 58 points a game that they give up, and have already been tested with their schedule and won a big game on the road at Oregon already in our league, so they know how to do that. It's it's one of those games we've got to be on point for 40 minutes. If we have any type of lull in this game on either end, this could be a long afternoon. So mixed teams are always as tough as anybody, and we got to go in there and hopefully match that.
How do you prepare and simulate a defense that forces many turnovers?
Yeah, you try to do the best you can, and whatever you're facing, whether it's a press, whether it's a team that's going to sit in gaps and play pack, or whether it's a team in UCLA that's going to get out and pressure all over the floor. You just try to simulate it as best you can, knowing it's not going to be perfect. I give our scout team all the credit in the world, and I talked about a couple of those guys that went in the game the other day and gave great minutes for us. But those guys behind the scenes, I wish people saw the work that they put in to learn other teams' systems, both offensively and defensively, and they have to go out there and execute. And it's good for them. It's good for when you look at a guy like Nick Janowski and Braden Frager and Justin Bolus. Those guys in their first year in the program, they're learning every system in the league now. And when we go on the road, already being at Michigan State, next week you go to Iowa, you go to Purdue, they're going to experience all that, and that's very beneficial for their futures. But, I give those guys all the credit in the world, being the first ones in the gym, going out there trying to learn all the plays that we're going to face, and they do a really good job of executing and getting us prepared. And from a defensive standpoint, it's hard to simulate what UCLA is going to do to us on that end, but they're doing the best they can.
Ball security, you mentioned how important that's going to be. That's kind of been a bugaboo really all season for you guys. What have you identified as maybe the root causes of that, and is this just something that they got to figure out themselves on the court, or can it be addressed?
I mean, the ones that bother are just the careless, mindless ones. We stepped on the sideline twice the other game. That just eats away your insides. We had 3 straight possessions where we turned it over that led to dunks on the other end. And I guess the one good thing is we're facing a defense very similar to what we just faced as far as pick and roll coverage, as far as being ball hawks out there. They had great hands, and we didn't handle it great with the turnovers, and we have to clean it up if we want to win consistently in this league. We have to value possessions much better than what we're doing right now, and finish possessions better than what we're doing right now. And UCLA is going to test us in both of those areas on Saturday afternoon. So, we got to get off to a good start as far as taking care of the ball, getting quality looks, getting shots up on the glass. If you turn it over, they turn it into dunks and layups and threes on the other end. So we have to take care of the ball. We have to value possessions.
You've said this has to be a gritty, grimy team. When did you see the guys themselves maybe buy into that idea or that philosophy?
Well, I think we kind of have to. Early on when we were really struggling, we've shot it better as of late, but when we were really struggling to put the ball in the basket, you got to find a way to win in other ways. And I thought that we did a pretty good job of that. We've done a good job of that all year long as far as buying into the defensive system and the game plan discipline. And we've been pretty solid with the exception of a couple games, and we've lost those games where we haven't been as sharp or we haven't been as on point. But our guys have really grown. When we got it handed to us on the road at Michigan State, we've been pretty good ever since. And and now the challenge is once we start playing these bigger, more physical teams, this team is very similar to Michigan State in the way that they're going to go out with their physicality and really get after us. And, we'll see how we handle it. And we'll see how we respond. There's going to be adversity that hits us at some point on Saturday, and how we handle it will determine whether we have a chance to win or not. And, that's the theme in this league, is handling adversity much better than we did against Michigan State, and we've done a solid job. We had close games, in Hawaii that we pulled away in the end. So, late game execution is going to be very important. We're going to play a lot of close games. In these last 18, and the team that executes best on the stretch are the ones that are going to be on top of this league at the end.
In past seasons, how have you handled the emotions of players going against their former teams? Obviously with Burke on Saturday, and then even going into next week with Aaron going there time.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really talk about it, to be honest with you. It's, something they know it. They, they want to go out and play well against former teams. BK, I think, is playing some of his best basketball right now. He's playing with more confidence on the offensive end, and he's been one of our better defenders when you look at it from an analytic standpoint. Rebounding, as he's really helped us on the glass, and he's a guy that can play multiple positions. He's playing a lot of 5 for us right now, which is important with Bilodeau, a guy that can pick and pop and being their leading scorer, and a guy that can really shoot the ball. So we're going to need him, to play 4, play 5, and just continue to get better. But a lot of it is he's gotten himself in better shape since the injury. He struggled in that area when he went down with the groin, being out a week. It's taken him a while to get back in the game shape that he needs to be in, but I think he's pretty close. Just did an extra conditioning session out there right now with our strength coach, and I know these are big games, for these guys when you face your former program. They want to go out and play well, but at the same time, you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself. Just go out there and play with instincts, which is when Burke is at his best, and hopefully play well.
What have you seen from Bilodeau that's maybe different this year than playing against you coach against me?
Yeah, he's playing with a ton of confidence. He's they're putting him in a lot of really good situations. They're pick and popping him with the floor flat, which is a tough cover, especially when they have quick guards like they do. And then they're putting him on the mid post and letting him go to work with different type of ISOs. It's tough. Those are hard covers. It's the number one thing on your scouting report is how are you going to cover a shooting 5. Or a guy at the 4 when they slide him down and come in big, are you going to change it? And they do a really good job. Mick does a great job of putting those guys in good situations. And he's a guy. You look at, I think it was a Carolina game. He hits 2 threes coming down the court. Our 5's instincts can't be to run to the paint when there's nobody in there. We have to match. We have to match in transition. And he puts you in a difficult position because of his skill set.
How has Aaron progressed the past couple days?
Yeah, Aaron did a little bit of contact today. He was non-contact yesterday. He's still a little bit sore. Obviously it would be great to have him because of the pressure that they're going to apply to us, but we're not going to take any chances. We know we've got a lot of games left. So, we'll see how he responds to today's load, and hopefully he can do a little bit more tomorrow. And, we'll see where he is. It'll be a game time decision on Saturday.
With all the talk about just these first 5 games of January and how difficult the stretches could be, and pair that with how good you guys have been at home, how important is this one? Just the fact that you have a marquee opponent at home that has to travel halfway across the country, and just the advantages that come with that. Yeah,
and the way our league is now, I know they're coming in today, so they get 2 days to acclimate to the time zone, and it's smart. And it's important in this league. You got to do the best you can to protect your home court. We did obviously a great job of that last year. And if you don't, if something happens, you got to find a way to regroup. And we got 2 road games, tough road games after this one. But our sole focus is on Saturday afternoon and what we can do to give ourselves the best chance to compete and give ourselves the best chance of having having at the end of the game a chance to win. And I'm confident our guys will continue to do that. We've played well. Now the challenge is, once we get smacked in the face, we got to find a way to handle that as good as possible to give ourselves a chance to win.
How much did that little late run by Gavin do for his confidence? And I guess, did you see a little more pep in his step this week, just that he finally got that?
It started with practice. He had a good week of practice. And, we looked for opportunity to get him in the game, and I'm glad we did those last, whatever it was, 4 minutes. And he went out there, to Gavin's credit, and he played great. And those are the things, along with practices, that lead to more opportunity. And, it's all our guys. Kale obviously is one of our most consistent players when it comes to following the game plan and knowing the scouting report. And Gavin's a guy that can take the lid off when the ball's not going in. And, I think he showed that the other day. His shot looked really pure in that game. So, just continue to be ready when your name's called and go out there and give your team a positive impact.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We'll go over 4 players. 4 players.
Both pretty good, sure.
Okay, well, no questions for Brice.
Hey Bryce, you guys have kind of made your calling card defense and just playing tough physical basketball. Well, that's kind of what UCLA does as well. How much are you preparing just for the level of physicality to increase maybe more than anything you've seen yet this season?
Yeah, they're the number one team in the country when it comes to turning other teams over. But they have a similar defense to us, and I feel like, when we're on defensively, we're a much better team. We can hang our hats on that, and they do that every night, though. So, maybe we'll just clash, and it'll be a very strong defensive, night for both teams. But, we run similar defenses. It's all about picking and putting guys into the best position. But, we have to be physical. This is the Big Ten now. Every night is going to be Big Ten. It's not going to be any more other conferences. So we're going to have to be ready.
You mentioned their steal percentage. You guys have had issues with turnovers this season. I guess how much of a priority is one of the lead ball handlers is it to really value the possessions?
Yeah, take care of the ball, getting us in and out of our sets, going through our offense with pace. Those are the most important things because UCLA is going to pressure us. They're going to get in us full court. I know for sure once we cross half, and that's going to make it tough, to get into some of our sets. But we can't. If we just accept their pressure and don't match their pressure, then we're going to get run out the gym because they hang their hats on defense and pressure. But if we handle their pressure early, like any other team, they'll ratchet it down, and then the game will go how we want it to go. But we just have to be tough, take their physicality, but also bring some.
How much of an emphasis this past couple days in practice has ball security been? What have you done to prepare for that?
It really hasn't been anymore. It hasn't been emphasized any more than it usually is. Other than the fact that we're playing the number one team defensively, or the number one turnover team, whatever you want to call it. It's always a point of emphasis. But some games we just loose with it. Some practices we're just loose with it. Some games we just have our moments which have to be limited, have to be kept at a minimum. But we just have to be ready for their pressure, ready for their physicality, and everything else to handle itself.
How have you seen teams guard you differently, not just because of the way you're playing, but also you have other shooters around you that are really in big performances with Connor and Burke recently?
Well, with other guys like Connor, kind of similar to Casey, they just up their physicality. That kind of took Casey out some games. With Connor with Michigan State, it kind of took him out. But with our team, we're so deep. We just have to keep the ball moving. We have to play with each other, play confident, play without thought. Some games, as soon as we get hit in the mouth, it's like we'll stop and we'll go away from what we know. But going forward, every team scouts everybody. It's not like you're playing a non-conference team. We scout heavily, more heavy when it comes to conference play. So they're gonna know what you like. They're gonna know your tendencies and everything like that. But the emphasis now just has to be, just playing through physicality and being more tough. We're not looking for no calls. It's a Big Ten. You're gonna be physical. You're gonna have to hit. You're gonna have to get up after you get hit and get knocked down. But also, we're just gonna have to play off what the team gives us and play strong, play sure-handed, and try to make the right play every time.
You've been able to lean on Berke at all in preparation since he knows his team, these systems fairly well?
Yeah, BK knows ins and outs, but Coach Nate, that's his job to break everything down. I know this is our first year with them in the Big Ten, but they do a pretty good job. They watch the film hours and hours and hours out of the day, and put up a lot of film on our huddle. So we're leaning on BK, but we're more so leaning on everybody, coach stuff.
Fred's talked about this being a gritty team. When did you see guys maybe kind of buy into that mindset that this team could build around that? He said like gritty over pretty a little bit.
Yeah, definitely gritty over pretty. There's no finesse in this league. I guess when we were in Hawaii, it wasn't an easy tournament. Hawaii was a good team. Oregon State was a good team. Even Murray State was a good team. We got out on them early, and then we built a good lead, a good cushion. And then the second half, if you just look at the second half, okay, maybe it was like a closer battle. But we had to fight over there. We had to be physical. You finally saw me get on the glass. You saw BK get on the glass. You saw Braxton get on the glass. Everybody was effective. Everybody kind of took a step over there in Hawaii. And that just has to carry on and keep going up, get more physical.
Quick non-basketball question. Is there any special meaning behind your jersey number or why you picked that when you got here?
Nah, growing up, I was a fan of D-Wade. And then, like, if I had to say anything after that, I'd just be making it up. So I was going to say D-Wade.
You've gotten some accolades along the way, some national stuff recently. I mean, what's that mean to you as I know you're focused on what's ahead, but do you appreciate that as it comes?
I appreciate it. It's just a testament to my team first, because they put me in the position to be successful. I couldn't do any of it without them. And then two, just a testament to my work. But I try not to even look at it honestly. It's just hard for me to celebrate that when I'm not where I want to be at. When the team's not where I want us to be at. It's cool after the season, looking at all things you've done, if you get where you want to go. But yeah, I just don't even pay attention to that honestly. But it's cool though.
With that in mind, you're obviously taking more shots, scoring more points than you did last year. How are you a different player than you were a year ago? How have you developed in the past season?
I kind of break it down as last year. Yeah, I could have scored 20. Yeah, I could have shot a lot of shots, but it would have been detrimental to the team. Whereas last year I took the liberty of just going for the point guard role. Casey's gonna shoot. Rink needs the ball. CJ needs the ball. Last year, other guys need the ball. Whereas I'm not fighting. I'm not gonna fight anybody. My goal is to win. If I need to be a defender and a rebounder, and then pass the ball, then I'm fine with that because it helps us win. And we won last year, so I have no regrets about it. But this year, my role is to score the ball and defend and rebound. And be more aggressive all the way around. Not delegate to other guys. Like, nah, they'll get theirs because they get theirs, and because I'm not selfish, I'll always pass it if they're open. But my role this year is way different from last year, and I needed to excel in my role for our team to be successful.
Going into the year, you talked about leadership and how important that was for you to really step up and make this your team, or even you and Juwan's team. I guess how much more comfortable are you in that now that the season's kind of underway and you've had some on-court experiences with these guys, just with your ability to step into that role even more?
I'm growing more comfortable. I still have a lot of work to do. Coach is always on me about talking more, being more vocal. But I mean, I'm growing more comfortable. I'm getting more comfortable with the guys. They see how I play, so they trust me. They listen to me. Just as much as they listen to me, I listen to them. So, and it's all about instilling confidence in them, especially like guys like BK and Raleigh and Braxton. Like those guys need more of an encouragement style than they do like a leader who just comes at them and like berates them. So, it's been a learning experience, but I've been growing more comfortable.
At what point did you realize you were gonna have a different role and you were gonna have to take on a heavier scoring load? Was that preseason, or when did that shift come for you in your mind?
Just happened naturally. just happened naturally. Yeah.
You said you're not where you want to go or where the team wants to go. Where is that?
NCAA. We want to go to the tournament. We want to win some games this year. Make a run. That's the goal. That's everybody's goal in the locker room. Similar to last year, but it means a little something more this year because it's the last year.
It's been a long time since you guys have lost in this building, with the opponent coming in, and then just kind of what these next 5 games and the degree of difficulty coming in there. How much value are you putting on defending home court, and is it maybe even more than it would normally be?
I wouldn't say it's any more than it would normally be. I feel like every time anybody comes here, we want to defend home court. But I mean, we're focused, we're ready. We're going to bring our A game. Everybody's ready, and we're just ready to put the world on notice, put the Big Ten on notice.
Anything else for Brice? Thank you guys. Thank you, Brice.
Thanks, Brice.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Sorry,